finds the men. And I believe that this is one of those instances in life where the time found me. I wasn't planning to run for governor now. I've always had a love and a desire at one point in my life to be in public office. I worked for Senator Bob Dole, and he was one of the greatest at politics and moving agendas forward, making sure we find solutions. So he inspired me to one day be in public office because I was that skinny kid that came here from Cuba that didn't have money or didn't speak English. But thankfully I came to a country that with hard work, you open opportunities. And with that same hard work, you see your dreams realized. And we all come here as immigrants for the love of that little piece of the American dream. And we're out there in the world loving the fact that one day we could have that American passport. That means a lot to me. So running for office is giving back to that flag for everything it's done for me. I was at the front lines of the COVID pandemic for the last 4 months. And I started seeing things that I didn't appreciate. First of all, since I'm a microbiologist, immunologist, pandemics is something that I like to study, something that I know a bit of. And the first mistake we made is that we never shielded our most vulnerable population. And because of that, people in nursing homes started getting sick, and unfortunately, some of them dying. And then, after the first wave was over, when all our hospitals were in control of this pandemic, the hospitals were empty. We were furloughing nurses and doctors because we didn't have any business. And that is a time in this pandemic where we should have released a valve and let our citizens back out responsibly and let our businesses start the economy again. There is no medical reason why we didn't do that. So what I feel is that we played political science. We let some people be essential and some others not. And I assure you that if I talk to anyone and I ask them, is your business essential to you? They'll say yes. Essential to me and my family. So that got to me, but what really got to me is that one branch of government here, the governor, the executive branch, decided that he was going to make all the decisions. The legislature came to him and said, we're ready to work together. And he said, no, I'm going to make all the decisions. The hospital administrations, the Association of Hospitals, came to the governor and said, can we open up again elective surgery? There are people waiting to see if they have cancer or not through colonoscopies. There are people waiting for surgeries. And he said no. So for me, it was very irritating because it reminded me of where I came from. I came from Cuba. And Cuba was all about big government. Empowering big government. My grandfather had a farm. So we always kid that I'm a little farm boy. I was born in Cuba. And here I am. Because of this country. Because of the freedom that we have here. That farm was taken away from him by the government. They came and said, as of today, this is state property. So all his hard work and dedication was gone. My mother was a teacher and had a school. They took her license because she wouldn't sign a paper that says that she belonged to the communist government. She studied to be a nurse. They took that license too. That, to me, is what big government is about. And I stand, nothing of it I like. And I don't stand for it. The brainwashing that I went through when I was little, many immigrants from communist governments went through. When we were in 4th grade, I was asked to put my head down and ask God for candy. And when we put our heads back up, candy wasn't there. So the teacher said, okay, ask Fidel Castro for candy. Put your heads down. And candy appeared on every desk. And the teacher said, this is so you understand that the only God is government. No, sir. That same disgusting feeling that I had then, I have now. And I will defend this freedom with every ounce of my body to protect the dreams of all the immigrants that came to this country and the people that have been here that want to work hard and have that piece of the American dream. So I stood up with my own 2 feet and said, no, I'm going to do something about it. And I was venting to my wife, and she said, I've never agreed to politics, but if you run for governor, I'll be 100% behind you. Government is here to open opportunities, to help us grow. Government is not here to limit prosperity. And there has to be a change from a punitive government to an educational government. There has to be a change from a government that mandates to a government that educates and makes you better, us better. That's why we created government in this country, as a convenience to help us through our lives. And we gave the power to the government from the citizens. Government is here to work for us. We don't work for the government. But that's not what you feel right now in this state.
Yes.
This is the biggest government we've ever had in the state of Washington, that had no interest in having a balance between the health of our citizens and the health of our businesses, that has no accountability, that things happen in this government and no one gets fired. That the governor could say, I'm going to do what I want, and there's no checks and balances. That is not right. And we have a chance here. We have a chance here like never before this year to unite the state. To not make it about Democrats or Republicans, but make it about a new change. A new change where you have a government working for you. And there's a lot of people that are tired. Both parties. So we have a chance to unite, because most of the time we agree more than we disagree. When there's a pothole in the street, it doesn't care whether I'm a Democrat or Republican. It cares that I send somebody to fix it. When people come to me in the ER, they don't ask me if I'm a Republican or a Democrat. I mean, the only person that asked was Ronald Reagan when he got shot. He said to the surgeon, are you a Republican? But he was joking. Right? In our everyday life, it doesn't matter what we need. What we need is a government that comes to the table and finds solutions to push that agenda forward. And one that is responsible doing that. One that finds solutions first and then funds them, not throws money out there without a solution. Because you don't tell your daughter, here, go to Target, here's $500. They're going to bring back worthless stuff. You say to your daughter, here is $32.50 because you need a pair of jeans and a shirt. And if it costs less, bring me back the change. That's how we need to govern. Responsibly, with accountability. We have lacked decisive leadership. That's why this happened in Capitol Hill. We need decisive leadership in government. We need someone to lead the state that is present, that has not checked out. So I want to bring a level of competence back to government that it hasn't had for a long time. And luckily, I have been a member of a profession for 25 years. That competence is a little important. That decisive leadership is vital. That when you come to my ER with a knife in your chest, I don't stutter. I don't talk about it. It's action, or people die. I've done that every day for 25 years. So I'm very comfortable when there is a lot of noise in a crisis to be calm and give everybody around me a sense of calmness and security. And that's what people need out of our government. To educate the public, to make them calm and feel secure that we are securing them. I'm willing to do that. There is no one today that is running for governor of Washington State that has more experience and expertise than I do in how to take us out of this COVID pandemic and into a place where we will never be unprepared for a crisis again. And that goes for my experience and expertise in better health care for our people, in a robust program to solve the deficit of mental health, to solve the problem of drug addiction, which in itself are the causes of why we have so many people in the street. I went through the immigration system, the legal immigration system. I know how important for all of us is to be here and enjoy the freedom that we have here. So I look at a brighter future for Washington State. I think that we are certainly a state full of natural resources like no other, full of human resources. The brains that we have in Washington State are the top. We need to get back to a surplus. We need to build a big rainy day fund. We need to give our citizens a sense of security, and we need to unify the state. And it can happen. And I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you are football fans, but most of this state in the fall at 1 o'clock gets dressed with blue and green and roots for the Seahawks. And at that moment, it doesn't matter what party affiliation you have. So let's take that passion and have a government that helps us, opens opportunity, and gives us a better future for our everyday life. Thank you.